coffee bar boom in Britain began in 1952, when the first espresso machine arrived from Italy and was set up here in London, Soho. And today, the most successful coffee bars are those with a specialized clientele. How to attract them? Here's one way.
You weren't cool in the 1950s unless you'd had a nice hot cappuccino, but if you really wanted to be hip, you not only had to sit in a coffee bar like this, but you had to strum your guitar as well.
Ain't no fool, young love is rough and tough. And if you wanna win, you gotta play it real cool.
Yes, a 50s coffee bar was throbbing with atmosphere.
Wait a minute. We've got something better than that. Here's your chance. You got your guitar?
Yeah, why?
Get it and start playing.
And it was the only place to get discovered.
Oh, baby, why you standing out there in the cold? You gotta have some love, it ain't you been told. You gotta have someone who's gonna hold you tight. You gotta have someone who's gonna treat you right. Why don't you come in and be loved?
Stake your claim, 'cause you have to carve my name on a tree.
Before you knew it, you were rehearsing your TV special.
A letter of love to me.
Then you were a star. Oh, it's lovely stuff. Now, Bruce Welch, we can giggle a bit about coffee bars now. Were they really swinging places?
I think at the time, Mike, they were. I mean, I came to London with Hank when we were 15 years old from Newcastle-on-Tyne, which was a long way north. And to come to Soho for a 15-year-old boy from way up north, it was unbelievable. I mean, the strip clubs, pubs. We left school and we came to the Two Eyes Coffee Bar. We came there because I'd read that Tommy Steele started there, Terry Dene started there, Wee Willie Harris, people like that, Gary Glitter even. And we came there and eventually were allowed to play maybe 3 nights a week, for which we got 18 shillings a night.
Overpaid.
Overpaid, yeah. Actually, many years later, I found out that in fact we should have been getting £1 per night, but 10% was taken as commission by the doorman, Tom Lee.
It's a legend, isn't it?
It is a legend, yeah.
Now, Terry Dean, you had a big hit, of course, with the white sport coat. Did that film give you your big break, really?
It was the first, in fact, it was the only film I did make. I mean, it was certainly a help on the way, but the first time I appeared on the 6-5 special was with a white sport coat and a pink carnation, which was about 1957, I think.
Now, Paul Lincoln managed you, of course, and he ran the Two Eyes Club. Now, how did it get to be the hippest place in town, Paul?
Well, I think it was the era. There was absolutely nothing to do, and as Bruce made a very good point, to be able to come at 15 years of age, the kids were different then to they are now. You know, there wasn't any violence, and they were friends, and it may sound very strange, but Soho, for these people, and I mean, you can ask them, I mean, the Two Eyes was a safe haven. There were no drugs, Coca-Cola and cappuccino. People were happy to sit there all night. You know, it was just an incredible era, and the Two Eyes just seemed to be the place where it was to come along to and where it would happen for you.
Now, Joe, we saw you there, of course, with Jack Good, who was responsible, as we know, for putting pop on TV. You feel you owe him a lot?
I feel that everyone owes Jack Good a lot. We owe 2 people in this business a lot. One's Lonnie Donegan and one's Jack Good, and that's it.
Well, you can pay me.
Well, sure, no one else ever has. I mean, he's talking about the Two Eyes. Did you ever get paid there?
No.
What about Sorry, Paul? I never did, you know.
Well, what about agents? Did they exploit the kids?
Well, yes, but the point is, I mean, the kids today don't have that. I mean, my daughter's in the business. She don't get exploited. They've learned. But I don't regret a minute of it, to tell you the truth, because it's just like doing an apprenticeship. And we were young. And we were young.
We were having a great time. Lonnie, what about your shows? What was the atmosphere like there?
Well, I must pick up on this word that it's the first time it's used today, and it's the most important word when you're talking about the 50s, fun, right? It was a totally different world from what it is today. In those days, the kids had fun. We went out for fun. We didn't go out to punch anybody in the eye or to make £1 million. It was not in existence.
No, you were one of the biggest stars there. Everyone acknowledges that.
5'5½".
You had your knuckles wrapped. But big as you were, the BBC did wrap you over the knuckles, didn't they?
Well, the BBC was the big black boss of everything, you know, as once again you've illustrated in the paper. And it's a wonder show business ever lived through the BBC, really. They didn't like what I did, and when I did one particular song, which I'm sure you're referring to, which was the Battle of New Orleans, in which was the line, you know, we fought the bloody British in the town of New Orleans. Well, I mean, that's how it was, but the BBC shutters came, you can't say it, you can't say it. And they withdrew the record, we were forced to withdraw the record from the market, which in those days was unbelievable, fatal. And we had to reinsert the word ruddy instead of bloody. That was all right there. But what you don't know is that I'd already been banned years before that when I was in the Chris Barber Jazz Band, and we'd done a song called Somebody's Digging My Potatoes, Trampling on My Vine, which was full of double entendres. Yes. They could spell that.
I don't think I can listen to any more of that. Well, we've got a group of young people behind us now who weren't even born when all this started, so why are you so besotted by the 50s?
Well, it's the best decade of the century, basically. Britain, during the war, was miserable. People were depressed. With the 50s, you had a rebirth of British culture. You had the music, the clothes, even the furniture. Of course, the singers, the big bands, not just rock and roll, but all the music. There was a new youth culture, and we're hopefully carrying on with it today, because it won't die for me, ever, ever.
Such discernment and taste, it's wonderful. No. All this talk of music has made my varicose veins throb with anticipation, so we're going to end our whistle-stop tour of the decade with some of the best kind of music from those days. From the 50s, good night.
We took a little trip along with Colonel Packham down a mile in Mississippi. Took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we fought the bloody British in the town of New Orleans. Well, we fired them guns, the British kept coming, and there wasn't that many, and there wasn't from the cold. When we fired once more, they began to run down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Freight train, going so fast. Freight train, going so fast. I don't know what train he's on. Won't you tell me where he's gone?
Come on, look at 50 miles and come on, look at